There's a few things in life that are pretty tough, and relationships are one of them. When you're a kid, relationships are all based on liking the same toys, liking the same games, and getting together for playdates. However, when you become an adult, it's not so easy to build those kind of relationships. You have different values, different dreams, different desires, preferences, and boundaries, God forbid, and make it a little bit more difficult to have real, authentic relationships. However, due to rising concerns with what has been deemed the epidemic of loneliness, having real, authentic relationships is becoming more important than ever. And now I say this because I myself have experienced the benefits of having real, authentic relationships after long periods of lack and isolation and being super independent. And I've found that as much as for myself, we all really do need genuine, authentic relationships in our lives, especially as adults. Now, the epidemic of loneliness, what is that? Dr. Vivek Murthy sums it up pretty well with this statistic where he says approximately half of US adults report experiencing loneliness, with the highest rates being among young adults. Now, this is important because it poses risk to our physical and mental health. Dr. Vivek Murthy goes on to demonstrate that with these statistics. Loneliness and social isolation increase the risk of premature death by 26 and 29% respectively. Another way to put this, according to him, is that lacking social connection increases your risk for premature death as much as smoking up to 15 cigarettes per day. That's pretty detrimental. Some other risks that we are susceptible to are a 29% increased risk for heart disease, a 32% increased risk for stroke, and then just an increased risk for mental illnesses, developing mental illnesses like anxiety, depression, and dementia. And finally, we are also at heightened risk for developing viruses and respiratory illnesses. So what's the solution to this tragic dilemma that we're in? Human connection. And there are 4 key elements that we need to implement into our lives to have real relationships with other people. The first one is be yourself. Be your authentic, true self. And that can be so difficult for so many people. However, according to a therapist named Erin Posh, she says to forge real deep bonds, you have to connect through common experiences and real feelings. You can't be fake. If you want real deep connection that is literally healing to your physical and mental health, you need to just be authentic, be yourself, be goofy and be weird, and the right people will connect with that and accept that. Another key thing she mentions here is leveraging your shared interests to make memories together. In other words, do the things that you both enjoy and do it together and make memories that you can cherish in the moment and laugh and have fun, but also that you can look back on in the future. Another thing is initiating intimate conversations to build trust. So according to Susan K. Perry, in her article, 10 Proven Ways You Can Increase Intimacy, she notes that something as simple as sharing your thoughts at the end of the day can actually build connection with somebody else. Another way you can do this is asking questions about someone's dreams, their desires, the hard things they've been through, their secrets. That's a key indication of built trust right there. Just something to go deeper than the surface level and not to have a superficial relationship. Something where you really get to know the person deep down. And the last thing here is practicing gratitude. There is something so special about somebody being grateful for even the littlest things you do. Big things, little things, everything in between. Because it makes somebody feel seen and known and heard and valued. And that is just meeting our deepest human emotional needs, which is so important. So, what does it look like if you implement these 4 things of being yourself, having shared experiences, initiating deep conversation, and practicing gratitude. Well, there's the upside where you meet some really amazing people and you have awesome seasonal friendships and lifelong friendships even that come from that. The tougher side to accept is you might get rejected. And that is so hard, but something that Aaron Posh says is to remember that rejection is just as important a tool for you as it is for the person rejecting you. You don't want to waste your energy on not your people. So rejection really just shows you who you're incompatible with and helps you to keep moving forward. So although it can be difficult to build authentic relationships, it's vital for our physical, mental, and emotional health, as we've looked at today. Loneliness leads to tragedies like premature death, various diseases, viruses, illnesses, mentally and physically, as well as stroke. However, you can actually establish relationships by being yourself, sharing experiences with someone, having deep conversations, and just being grateful. And know that there's going to be opportunities to meet awesome people, and there's going to be moments of rejection, and those go hand in hand. So don't be afraid to make space for the right people by being you and resisting that urge to people please. Instead, be brave and take that risky step to show your true self. And know that the right people will find you and the wrong people will walk away. And your future self will surely thank you.